In this video, we are going to discuss in detail about algae. Algae are living organisms similar to plants. Like plants, algae make its own food through a process called photosynthesis. In photosynthesis process, algae consume sunlight and carbon dioxide to produce its food. We divide algae in two types. One is called macroalgae while the other is called microalgae. We can see macroalgae in our water reservoirs. Seaweed is basically macroalgae. We can see macroalgae in our raw water reservoirs if these reservoirs are not cleaned for the extended period of the time. Microalgae are very tiny small particles and can't be seen through naked eye. Microalgae has different colors like orange, blue, brown and green color. However, algae in green color is much common. Microalgae particles try to adhere at the surface of the solid material and combine to form a green material which can be seen easily. We can see microalgae in our coolant towers if we are using open deck coolant towers. It's common in open deck coolant towers that algae growth takes place despite of maintaining water chemistry because sunlight is there and sunlight is food for the algae. So it helps algae to grow in open deck cooling towers. That's why we need a periodic maintenance and cleaning if we want neat and clean surface in open deck coolant tower system. Rapid algae growth is also called algal bloom. So let's discuss the causes of algal bloom. We all know that nitrites and phosphates are the nutrients for algae. So if we are treating a fertilizer plant and that water contains phosphate and nitrites, it means we are adding feed in our cooling water for the growth of algae. Similarly, if we are using canal water in our cooling system and sewage water is added in that canal water without prior treatment, still we are adding food for the growth of the algae. So what happens when algae found these nutrients in sufficient quantities? It grows rapidly. We can observe algal bloom through the color changes in our cooling water system, and it's common in summer season. Similarly, it may also take place in winter season if we are adding more and more nitrites in our cooling water system due to ammonia ingress. We must be controlling our nitrites in our cooling water system because these nitrites will also increase algae growth. It has been observed that when algae dies, it converts into bacteria. So simply, algae also creates a blackish waste in our cooling water system. If algae is not properly controlled, then what happens? We will observe biofilm or biogrowth in our cooling water system, and that biofilm will decrease overall heat transfer coefficient in our cooling water system, including heat exchanges and in fills. In many cases, it has been observed that coolant tower fills fall down because of the growth of the algae. Similarly, coolant tower fills blockage has been observed due to growth of algae and biofilm. That's why it's very important to control algae within the limits. We have open deck coolant tower, then it's common that algae growth will take place at the top of the distribution system. So it's very mandatory to develop a cleaning frequency to clean each and every cell in a certain period of time. If we are keeping their distribution system clean, free of algae, it means it will be very beneficial for us to maintain our cooling water chemistry. Thanks for watching.